Hey, really quick before today's episode, I am going live on tour for the first time this fall, November 20th through the 23rd in 4 cities. We will have fun and games, audience questions, full house trivia, real talk about women's health and fitness, and more. Get tickets at candace.com/tour. Oh, it brings me to tears. I've never been cared for in that way. Like, my husband's such a good caretaker. I've never felt more loved from him. And I've felt so much love from him in our 29 years of marriage. But in that moment, he just picked up all the pieces and got me where I needed to go, which was home. When it comes to healthcare, it can feel overwhelming and expensive, but WeShare really simplifies it. It's the simplest, non-reimbursement health share on the market, and it's built around people helping people. With WeShare, members share in each other's medical costs in a faith-based community that focuses on 4 important things: cost, network, community, and freedom. And just for listening, WeShare is waiving the $149 application fee. So don't wait. Get your free non-obligation quote today at weshare.org/Candace or call 855-230-2523. That's 855-230-2523. As the days get shorter and the air turns crisp, there is nothing better than coming home to a cozy spot that feels like a warm hug. That's exactly what Cozy Earth's bamboo sheets and bubble cuddle blanket bring to your home this fall. They are so soft and comforting, and you'll want to stay wrapped in them all morning. Their sheets, they're temperature regulating, made from bamboo viscose that naturally wicks away heat and moisture. So even as the weather changes, you stay perfectly comfortable through the night. And the bubble cuddle blanket, it is plush, it's warm, it's big, it's heavy. It is beautiful with a textured design that is perfect for snuggling up by the fire or with a good book. You can try Cozy Earth's risk-free with their 100-night sleep trial, plus a 10-year warranty to keep you cozy for years. Head to CozyEarth.com and use my code CCB for 40% off. And if you get a post-purchase survey, make sure that you let them know you heard about Cozy Earth right here. Because this fall, your bed should be more than a place to sleep. It should be your happy, cozy place. Cozy Earth makes that possible. Life is like a roller coaster, but it's better when we go through it together. Welcome to the Candace Bure podcast. We share open and hopeful conversations about life's challenges, celebrations, and everything in between. Lisa and I are talking about the power of the church and how the body of Christ can help your body heal. On YouTube, click below to subscribe, then tap the bell to get notified when we drop new videos. Come join us. Hi, Lisa.
Hi.
I have been loving our conversations.
Same.
I always want to know, because you have 3 kids. I have 3 kids. They're roughly the same ages.
Yes.
All in their 20s now.
Yep.
You do have one married, right?
One married.
Okay, one married. So do I. One married. But this always tells me a lot about a person's personality.
I'm scared.
Were you ever a room mom, or what kind of like school mom were you when they were in elementary school?
What a good question. This is going to expose me.
Okay.
No.
Not a room mom.
And do you know, one time my daughter said to me, now the boys, my 2 oldest are boys, never did they say this to me. But one time my daughter said to me, "Mom, I wish you were the room mom." And I never was. Were you?
No.
Oh, yay. Okay. I feel suddenly better.
Okay. It is so funny because it's the same thing. My boys didn't really say much about it. I would volunteer on occasion, but never a room mom. But Natasha noticed it all the time because she'd be like, I love Jessica's mom.
Yep.
And she's the room mom. And she's so crafty. And she brings this and she brings that.
Yes.
And I'm like, let me go to the grocery store and pick up the pre-baked whatever and bring it in. And I love children I just was never the room mom.
I couldn't get it together. Listen, I had my second son trained to sign up for paper plates or the cups.
Yes.
And so he got to the point where he would race when they would put the sign up sheet out. He would race to it. So he would be like,
that's so funny.
Lisa Whittle. He would sign up next to it because he knew. The reason why is because one time he signed me up to make flan.
Flan of all things.
Yes.
Was it culture day or something?
It was like cultural day. Yeah. And he signed me up to make flan. And he came home and he said, Mom, I've signed you up to make something. I said, oh, great. What was it? What is it? And he said, flan. I said, what? So I literally was like, okay, let me pull out a recipe book or whatever. I could not believe. And so I said, son, from now on, it's paper products. That's what you're signing me up for. True story.
I love
So he
that.
learned his lesson. So every time after then, Lisa Whittle next to any paper products.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. It tells me so much about a person.
I'm just grateful you didn't say, oh, yes, I was the room mom for so many,
And I wasn't working either. It's not like I couldn't have been the room mom.
Right.
I mean, my kids were my full-time job.
Right. Same.
And aside from Bible study at my house and then playing tennis and having lunch with the ladies, that was about it. So I could have, but it's just, I don't know. That was never my strength. And I'm so grateful for the women who love being room moms. I'm like, yes, you do that.
Yes.
And I'm good at delegating, like supporting, but couldn't, I don't know.
They probably had the gift of hospitality.
Yes.
And that is not one of my spiritual gifts. It isn't. I score so low in hospitality. I mean, I'm almost off the charts.
So funny. I don't know that hospitality is high on my list either, although we host and entertain a lot, but Val and I are a really good team. And so because he sets up beautifully, he cooks, he picks out the flowers, he arranges the flowers, he does all of that kind of stuff. And I can do it, of course. He does it much better than I do. And then I feel like I'm the swizzle stick. So I'm good at when people come in, I buzz around to make sure everyone's talking, everyone's meeting, start up some conversations, just to make sure people don't feel like they're alone or they don't, or they're just in a conversation. And so I like being the swizzle stick and I love having people over. I love that. But I don't know that the gift of hospitality is high on my, what am I saying? Like on my list of attributes.
So look, here's a question for you. Do you know what your spiritual gifts are?
Not offhand.
Okay.
But I've done several, like we do one in our company, the Strength Finders test. We've done that, like all our employees. We do that. So I know what some of those are, but spiritual gifts, like lead me through them.
What's interesting about our spiritual gifts is a lot of us take, personality tests, but we maybe have never known our spiritual gift. And that's really important because the way that we're gifted is a spiritual endowment, and it's super important in the way that we operate in the body of Christ. So a lot of us maybe have never understood that, but everybody has at least one.
Right. My friend Erin, she has a gift, the gift of discernment, she would say.
Yes.
That is her spiritual gift.
Them,
and I'm like, how do you know? And then she'll be like, because God, I just know, like God gives me that gift. I'm very good at discernment. So how would I figure out what my spiritual gifts are?
I'm going to test you.
Okay.
I'm going to test you.
I'll stop
slide you a test. Yeah. No, it's really exciting because a lot of people don't know what theirs are. A lot of people. But I've been on this, especially after writing this study, I really pressed in with a lot of my friends and said, do you know what your gifts are? I actually made my whole family test because I wanted to know what everybody's spiritual gift was. It made perfect sense.
Okay.
And I actually retested myself because I wanted to know, like, what are my gifts? Making sure they were what I thought they were, because I think it's very important even for work. your work, there are many things that throughout my life, especially as I've gone on in my ministry and career, that are great opportunities that I could say yes to. But being in alignment with what you are spiritually gifted to do is super important. It has helped me determine a lot of my yeses and nos so that I don't have a lot of work overwhelm. Because when I'm operating in my spiritual gifts set, there's just such a sweet spot there. It makes perfect sense for what I'm doing because that's how God has gifted me. And the whole point of the body of Christ is to work together. The body helps our body not experience the overwhelm. So we talked in an earlier show.
Oh, yeah. And that's what we're talking about, by the way, on the show today.
Yes.
I didn't say that, but.
Yes. We talked in an earlier show about the overwhelm. I believe it was in the first show, about how we are exhausted. We are always constantly talking about how we want rest. We need rest so desperately. And I think a lot of that does come from maybe a packed schedule and all of that. We talked about the fact a lot of it comes from mental exhaustion because we have so much information overload, especially regarding our bodies. But I think another element of it is we are being constantly told by secular culture, you must do everything. You must be good at everything. You must have your hand in everything. Social media has blown that up in a big way because we're constantly looking at things on social media and saying, oh yeah, I've also got to do that and I need to keep up with that. Body or not, we're just seeing so many things that we feel like we should also be doing. That is not biblical. If you have a whole body theology, you understand that the body of Christ was created with parts, different body parts, different functions. I'm not good at everything, Candace.
Right.
You aren't either. You aren't gifted in every way. You and I weren't probably meant to be a room mom because we're not high on hospitality.
Right.
So rather than spending our life feeling guilty about that, which I've had plenty of mom guilt over that. That needs to be a release that we understand we're not supposed to, that's not really our territory. And that's not to say you never should push yourself to do something that you're not naturally good at, but it's not to spend your life saying, I really should do this other thing over here.
Yeah.
Well, what if you're not really gifted to do it?
Right.
No, you really probably shouldn't. You should let someone who really is gifted to do it, Jessica's mom, who really is good at like doing all the little pencils and all the things, let her rock it out.
Yeah.
She's gifted to do it, right? But what we're talking about here today is the absolute overwhelm we have in our bodies from not understanding this biblical principle. Because you know what happens? We as women will allow our bodies to be completely broken down before we ever ask for help. So, for instance, we will allow our bodies to just keep going and going before we'll ever take a nap, before we'll ever ask for help with our kids. I mean, here's the thing. We might need help with someone picking up our kids from carpool, but we will actually offer to pick up someone else's kids from carpool before we'll even ask someone to help pick up our kids. Because why? Well, we don't want to ask for help.
Yeah.
And we will overwork. Do you, Candace, have a problem with anything that I'm talking about?
Sure. I've gotten really good at delegating, though.
Okay.
I have over the years. And yeah, when there's a pressure that I feel that like, I should be good at that. I should be good at that. And you kind of push yourself to, you're like, it's fitting a square peg in a round hole. It's like, you don't have to be all the things and do all of the things. Getting burnt out. There's been major times in my life, especially when I had gone back to work when my kids were a little bit older, and then trying to balance all of that and having a really hard time saying no, especially to the things that you want to say yes to, but then you know that the more practical or the emotional things that you should be saying yes to versus the things you want to say yes to, like you have to say no to one of them. And it's like, how do I choose which one? And can I just, so you want to try to do everything and someone ends up unhappy or you're unhappy or overwhelmed or frustrated and all of that. But I think in the last probably 10 or 15 years when I started my company and, you know, I have a team, I have employees, I have people that work for me, that to get my very first assistant, which was about 10 years ago, that was really hard for me.
Yeah.
Because I was like, wait, but I can do all those things. I'm fine at doing that. But yet more and more things were on my plate. And it's like, no, it's time you learn how to delegate. And I learned it more in business than with my family, with my kids as a mom.
Yeah.
What about you?
I mean, same in many regards. I didn't have an assistant till I was in my 40s.
Mm-hmm.
I thought I could just do it all myself. I think for me, it was a matter of financials too. I thought, you know, I don't want, or I don't need, or I can't pay someone to do that. And I think a lot of women are in that space where they would love to have some help, but they maybe feel like they don't have the money to do that. They don't have the money to do that. And that's real. And so we can get very inventive in some ways. It's kind of cool, you know, because we can do a lot of things ourselves. So I'm a big proponent in women learning to do things ourselves. It's made me a very creative person in that sense. But I also think there's a lot of pride involved too. Mm-hmm. It's like, I don't want to reach out and ask for help. You know, there was a period in my life, Candace, where the Lord really convicted me about even allowing people to pray for me, because there was...
That surprises me.
Yeah. No, there was. Because I really felt like I like to be in a position of strength. It's a comfort place for me.
Okay.
Because I do operate in that way well. Like that's a way God has gifted me to be a strong person in people's life. And so I'm not playing a role there. I feel very comfortable there. I'm terrible at a lot of things, but I am good in a strength position. Mm-hmm. So for me, I like to pray over people. I like to pray for people. So I remember I was asked to be on a weekend retreat with a group of speakers. I actually didn't know any of them except for one. And so already that was vulnerable for me, because I don't usually like to be in spaces like that. Safety again, right? Trust, like I don't know them. So, but I was there, and I remember I had already made my exit plan. I was going to go ahead and leave before everyone else. And so I went there, we had the weekend together, and we were getting ready to leave, or I was getting ready to leave, but everyone was sitting in the living room. We've been doing like a kind of a, you know, just a chat time. And so I said, okay, guys, you know, I'm getting ready to leave. It's been great. And I'd love to pray over you guys before I go. And so they were like, oh yeah, that'd be great. And so I prayed over everybody, and I was getting ready to go out the door. And one woman, there was a snag in my plan. She said, I would love to pray over you. And I said, oh, okay. Yeah, great. Because I didn't want to be rude, obviously. Sure. But I was so uncomfortable. And because this was not a part of my plan. And so everyone was like, yeah, we want to pray over you. And so then they all were praying over me suddenly. And I was so uncomfortable. And I got in the car to go home. And the Lord spoke to me and he said, you need to work on receiving. And I just really dealt with that for like an hour and a half on the way home. Like, what is this that I can't receive? And I can't even receive prayer from someone. And I don't know whether it was a pride issue. I don't know whether it was just being uncomfortable. I don't know. Yeah. But, you know, it's great to be a giver, but it's also important to receive, because I think a lot of us in many ways feel like that there's an expectation that we're going to owe someone, or just a discomfort there. Yeah.
Or that you're being a burden in some way.
You're being a burden. And women have this weird thing about it. If I ask someone else for help, then I'm going to burden them in some way. And honestly, Candace, I don't think we even know what our limits are. Yeah. Very many times. Yeah. I mean, what happens when you reach a limit? Do you recognize it in yourself?
It was, it was with a friend of mine, and she was going through a really hard time. And so much so that she didn't want to talk or share about anything. She was really becoming reclusive. And I kept pushing. And she shared some things with me, and I said, thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for sharing with me. I think you need to share with someone. And was a very trusted friend. And she just kept saying, I feel like it's just not anyone else's problem. And I feel like I'm just adding on, and I don't want people to feel sorry for me. And it just makes me feel even worse about myself that I would share any of my problems. I can just talk to God about it, even though she was very much struggling with it all. Like, but that's what community's for. And I said, that's what I'm here for. And I said, I want you to think of it from this perspective. Like you're actually denying the work of God's hands and feet. The people that want to pray for you, the people that love you so much. Like we are called to do that for you. And I know it can be scary. I'm not saying announce your problems on a public platform, but to share with one person, with two people that you trust is not a burden. It allows me to do what I can do for you when I know I can't tangibly fix anything for you, but that I can be praying for you and asking God to be in over the things that you're going through. That actually makes me feel good. And I'm not trying to be selfish about it, but please ask for it.
Yeah. Why do you think we don't ask for help more often? I mean, really and truly, is it that we are afraid? Is it that I think it's for a multitude of
reasons.
Right.
I think it can just feel weak. It can, and who wants to be weak, especially from someone when strength is your
go-to.
Your go-to. No one wants to feel like they're weak. And I think, again, feeling like a burden, like my problem isn't big enough to share. Other people have bigger problems. I don't want to add to someone. I'm just becoming another burden. I think it can come from not feeling worthy enough that, there are bigger things in the world I'm not worthy of sharing the things I need help with. There are a lot of reasons.
How do you know when you're trying to do everything?
I've had some really clear signs in my life when I've burnt out. And a lot of times I just get sick. I get run down. So that's like that's the easy sign. God's like, I need you to slow down and get some rest.
I mean, let me just say it this way. Because when I see you, even on social media, you're always filming a movie.
I'm always filming a movie, and that's always on an airplane.
Okay. So people from the outside might say, Candace works all the time. Mm-hmm. Is that fair? Is that not fair? Have you adjusted your life to that? Am I getting in your business right now? You're looking at me like, no, don't get in my business, Lisa.
I work a lot, and I really enjoy it, but I am prone to overworking. However, in the last few years, with the help of my husband, we've found much better balance in our life. And I recognize how unhealthy my work has been at times in my life. Because I want to do all the things. And I think that's part of the issue. It's not even that I'm afraid to say no or I'm not allowing people to help me. It's that I genuinely want to do all of these things. But that has created very unhealthy balances for my marriage and with my children. And so that's why as horrible as the pandemic was, it was the best thing that could have happened to me because it literally shut me down. It shut us all down.
Right.
But then I had to take inventory of the things that were most meaningful and what actually mattered in my life and recognize like, oh, I'm missing out on all of these things. I don't have a balance. I've lost some relationship with my children or my husband because of all the things that I'm doing. So now I very much recognize it, but I have to schedule my time. So do I work a lot? I do, except that, and you can ask my team, you can ask my assistant or anyone that works with me or my husband, is that I am precious about my time and I schedule it out. Like, I'm not working these 3 days. I will be with my husband. And unless there's an emergency, it can wait until Tuesday.
Did any of the burnout play into any of the reason why you left the View?
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. So we kind of talked about that in, was it the last week we talked about it? Yeah. And talk about the body keeps score. I mean, that's what we were talking about. But there was such burnout because when I was doing that show, I was living in Los Angeles, but working in New York. So I was flying every single week on a Sunday night to do the show live, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, fly home Friday, back to LA, spend Saturday with my family and get on a plane again Sunday afternoon. So for 2 years, I did that and then was also filming Fuller House on the second year. So then I was doing on my hiatus weeks, which means the weeks that I'm not filming on Full House, I was flying to New York doing the show. And I didn't realize the toll that it had taken not only on my body, but my mental, clarity and all of that kind of stuff. So yeah, I got to the point where that last day on the show, I was walking through Central Park back to my apartment and I couldn't take another step. My body broke. It was another very out of body experience, but it was more of a traumatic response to just so many feelings and emotions that had gone through me. And I called my husband on the phone. I'm like, I'm in the park and I don't know what's happening to me. He was like, sit down. Am I calling an ambulance? Am I calling the police? Like, what am I doing? And I'm like, I don't know. And he goes, just sit there and wait. And, I'll get back on the phone with you. Just don't move. So I did. He called me back. He said, I've got an airplane ticket for you. You're getting on a flight. It leaves in 4 hours. I've called an Uber. They're going to come pick you up. And can you walk to your apartment? And I said, I think I can walk. I think I can make it. And anyway, I got in that car. Eventually I got on that flight. It brings me to tears. I've never been cared for in that way. Like, my husband's such a good caretaker. I've never felt more loved from him. And I've felt so much love from him in our 29 years of marriage. But in that moment, that felt like, you talk about a ride or die. And it was like, that was it, man. He just picked up all the pieces and got me where I needed to go, which was home. And got me in my bed where I didn't get out for 2 weeks. It was just a lot. And so what were we even talking about? I don't even remember because I'm like, who cares? I don't know about you, but I love to colorfully mark up my Bible. And Mr. Pen is the company dedicated to creating pens and highlighters specifically to be used in your Bible. How cute is this? The ink doesn't bleed through the page, and there are so many color palettes to choose from, paired with their other products like transparent sticky tape, sticky notes and tabs and washi tape, and you can create the perfect combinations to make studying scripture an even more meaningful experience. With over 1 million 5-star reviews on Amazon, they are the most popular Bible highlighters and pens on the market. That's why I use them. Whether you're looking to deepen your faith through study and reflection or simply need a reliable pen for taking notes during a sermon, Mr. Pen has you covered. To get 10% off your first Mr. Pen order, go to CandacePens.com. Join me in diving into the Word in 2025. Go to CandacePens.com to get 10% off your Mr. Pen order. I've never been to Israel, but it's a place I've often talked about with friends and really hope to visit someday. It's where the stories of the Bible happened, full of history and meaning. That's why I'm proud to partner with the International Fellowship of Christians and Jews. For over 40 years, they've been caring for Israel's most vulnerable, feeding children, supporting the elderly, and bringing hope to where it's needed most. There are stories in the Bible that come with promises. And for Christians, I think it's so important to understand the foundations of our faith and the special connection we have with the people of Israel, whose history is told in the Bible. Building intentional relationships and supporting the people of Israel is a way we can live out our faith. Join me in being a blessing to people who share the foundations of our faith. To learn more and find out how you can help, visit ifcj.org. That's ifcj.org. Like so many of you, I have seasons where stress, low energy, and feeling off balance start to take a toll physically and emotionally. That's why it's important to find real, effective support for your health. I found it through New Ethics, and it's making a huge difference in my life. Lately, I've been loving a few supplements from New Ethics. I've been taking Court Ease every day for the last 7 months. It's helped me manage stress in a healthy way and stay centered throughout the day. New D3 plus K2 supports my immune system and bone health, both things we want to stay on top of as we get older. And they also make a great greens product called Gourmet Greens that tastes delicious because it doesn't taste like bitter greens. There's an espresso flavor, but I'm not a coffee drinker, so I got the berry blend, and you can taste the blueberries, blackberries, and raspberries. It's fruity, but it's not too sweet. It's packed with antioxidants and digestive support. New Ethics greens are designed to promote natural energy and overall wellness. Taking care of my health is a top priority. I think you know that. I want to be proactive in finding supplements that support my body in a clean, honest way that I feel good about. And I know you do too. Visit newethics.com. The link is in the show notes. And don't forget to use my code Candace for a special discount at checkout.
What's really crucial that people are hearing is, number one, the toll it takes on our body.
Yes.
But number two, sometimes we don't even really recognize or regard what overworking and forcing our body to do and be all things. We are limited people.
Yeah.
We are.
Yeah.
And you know what's interesting, Candace, as I'm listening to this, I'm thinking about my own overwork story because like you, I actually really like to work.
Mm-hmm.
I talked about the fact in one of the other shows that I wrote 6 projects, three books and 3 Bible studies in 3 years, which is really crazy. I mean, the deadlines that I was on, I remember writing a book in 8 weeks, and that's just ridiculous. I would never coach or advise anyone to do that.
Yeah.
Because your body will break in half.
Yeah.
It just breaks.
Yeah.
It breaks down. You mentally break down. The space you have to get in to write things like that. It's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
But one thing I remember is that, people, well-meaning people would say girl, you just love to work. It's good. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
People will support you in your sickness.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you have to understand that these are things that you have to be very self-aware about.
Yeah.
Being led by the Spirit that lives inside of you. And also know that these messages that we're getting from secular culture all the time of you can do it. This is why the you are enough message is not the message that we need to believe. We were never meant to be enough.
Mm-hmm.
That's actually a really freeing message.
Yeah.
I love strength. I love strong women. I love the idea that I can do in many amounts of things. Like I love the idea of limitlessness. If it were true, it's just not true. What I found is that I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. And I found the profound limitlessness in my limitedness through that verse.
Yeah.
That's biblical theology. Yeah. And that's really important. And so if we want to do it our way and we want to try to do and be all things, that's fine. But that's not the way that's meant to be. And so how does that relate to our bodies? Well, I think we heard the story there, breaking down in Central Park.
Right.
Because at a certain point, even though like, yes, you know, there's a fulfillment in doing your work and that's great. And, you know, I'm sure you had your reasons for taking, at the end of the day, your body's your one and only body.
Yep.
You still, when you have a whole body theology, you're operating with a glory mindset. So does this bring glory to God? If you're in the middle of Central Park breaking down, at that point, it was no longer bringing glory to God because he loves you, because he's for you, because your life can't be as kingdom driven in that moment as it normally would be.
And you know what I learned when I got home? Because of course, a couple days went by and I'm not exaggerating. I didn't get out of bed for a couple of weeks. It was difficult. But yet on probably that third or fourth day, I'm going, what's the show doing? I've got my contract. Like I'm supposed to be working right now. And my husband was like, just stop. Just, it's taken care of. Don't worry about it. I'm like, well, did my agent call them? Did they what's happening? Are they freaking out? Are they getting a new co-host to like sit in for me? Like stop. Like what I learned is the world didn't stop revolving. Like life kept going on.
Right.
And it was like, there isn't a problem that's so big that other people can't solve or it can't be fixed. And it's not to say that you're replaceable. That's not the message I'm saying. But it's like there's just a point where it will keep going. You can ask for help and people can help you and it can get taken care of. You don't have to do everything.
That's so true. And that's so good. You know, I think I've spent a lot of time even in friendships, just sort of like thinking about how I should be better at, we'll take friendships, for instance, being a better friend. I thought I should be everything that friendships say I should be. So I should be everything in work. I should be everything as a mom. I should be everything as a friend. Even though talking about the spiritual gifts, because as a body, you know, we're all gifted differently. We all have different body parts. I thought, you know, I should be a better friend because I don't remember my friends' birthdays. Sounds so crazy, but it's true. I'm like, I'm not a good friend because I don't remember my friends' birthdays. Well,
you know, they have like an app for that. You just put your friends' birthdays and they'll send you a text reminder.
But here's the funny thing about this. Like, I don't have the gift of administration. I don't have the gift of hospitality. My gifts are in prophecy and discernment and shepherding. So those just don't even match, right? So of course I'm not going to be good at not only being the room mom, but not remembering birthdays. Whereas my friends that are gifted in administration, they're the ones that are like, happy birthday to your son or happy anniversary to your son, right?
Totally.
But the point being is, I think for a long time, we have loathed ourselves for everything, from not working well enough to, you know, not offering our neighbors to have a play date with our kids because they offered us one 4 years ago. To, you know, oh, I'm really tired, but if I lay down, that shows my weakness, you know, to not being a good friend. And the problem is the body is meant to help our body, because if our bodies break down because we think that we're supposed to do everything, then we don't understand biblically the way that we were supposed to operate. The interesting thing is, the animal kingdom does understand this. I was reading this because they have a group mentality way that they do things. Of course, this is the animal kingdom was created by the creator.
Yep.
So they do things in order to increase their quality of living, their chance of survival, and to make life easier on themselves. Fish form bait walls to keep danger away. Elephants live in herds and they keep their babies in the middle to protect them.
Mm-hmm.
And then the meerkats, which are the lesser known animals, split up jobs among themselves to do different tasks, to work together, and to accomplish things and fight off loneliness. I mean, the animal kingdom.
Yeah.
But we don't really do things like
Yeah.
that. We're like, okay, I have to do all things. So if we want our bodies to break down less,
Mm-hmm.
we have to operate in the way that we're supposed to, which is the body. I have a chair in my office. It's really pretty to look at. It's gorgeous. You would love it because we're the decorating twin flames.
Yes.
But it's like this gorgeous, like white velvet. But when I put it, I put it in my office and it has a leg was like missing a part, but I just kind of screwed it in anyway. And so it sits in the corner and it looks gorgeous, but if you sit in it, you kind of wobble and tilt, right? And so it looks good, but because it's missing its part, it does not operate in the way that it's intended to operate. Really simple illustration of the way that we're supposed to operate as a body. And so if we don't understand that, then we're just going to keep being exhausted.
So this is a listener question, which I think is great based off of what you just said. Kristen asks, I still struggle finding friends and my community.
Mm-hmm.
Any advice?
I think adult friendships are really hard. We're just like all little 6-year-old girls still wanting to be invited over.
It's so true. It kind of never changes.
It doesn't change.
Yeah. You can still feel left out, like you're sitting alone at the lunch table, or maybe you're DJ Tanner in the phone booth alone eating your lunch.
I mean, it's kind of true. I don't know. I think it's hard to know without knowing like circumstances of like where you live and what, all the things. I always want to know the details of like, what have you tried? And, who do you know and all that. I think it might sound a little cliche, but I think it is just being the friend that you want to have.
Mm-hmm.
It really is.
It's also putting yourself out there.
It is.
That, when my son had moved out of LA, it took him a couple of years to really find good friendships. And we were so proud of him because there's just not a lot of young people in that community in general. It just tends to be older people where he is. And so he had to make such an effort to say, okay, where's the high school basketball game or where are they playing bocce ball? I'm going to join a league. Where is the church? Even though that wasn't necessarily the church he was going to on Sunday mornings, had to drive a little farther because they had a young adult ministry. Where are some people that and to show up alone is a really scary thing. And he did it. He kept going and just put himself out there. And it was the coolest thing to watch because I was like, Lev, go you. I'm like, I don't know that I would do that. I'd probably just hole up and go like, I'm just not going to have friends. But that is the risky thing, but it really paid off. He has some amazing friendships, but it took a few years to find them. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't know what you've tried, but whether that's if you have kids, whether that's in schools or church community or finding things that you enjoy, whether it's, like a league, a bowling league, a tennis league or something, it can be hard, but to keep pursuing is nice. I've also had friends that have really tried, like moved to new cities, and a year or 2 years later, they're like, I just don't think my people are here.
And that
happens.
That's actually such a good point too. And I also want her to know that it is hard for a lot of people. Mm-hmm. I will say community is hard for a lot of people and I think that's important to say because when we think that we're alone and that we're the only ones that can't find friends, it does feel like what's wrong with me. Even just something came to mind when my husband and I were going through something really difficult recently. I remember he came home one day and said, I thought through all the people that I could call about this. And now my husband has friends with tons of people.
Okay.
But when he was thinking through a list of who he could call when we were really burdened about a specific issue, he said, I couldn't think of one person. Because sometimes there are really deep issues that you think through people and you think, could I call them about this? And he said, I couldn't think of anybody. And you get to the point in your life too, where you become sort of the mentor of everyone. And at some point, and your parents are at a certain age that now you're protecting them from things that are hard. And it becomes harder and harder to find someone to mentor you as well. And I know we're not talking about mentorship, but that's also difficult. So I just want her to know it's tough. It's tough.
Yeah.
But I love your thought about putting yourself out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just might take some time. The other thing is I'll just, from my own experience, because I travel so much, like I'm always jealous of couples who have another couple friend that's like their best friends and they do everything with. Val and I don't have that. We've never had that. We have friends, but there's a lot of times it's like he has the guy friends, I have the girlfriends, and it's not necessarily the guy and the girl that are married.
Right.
I mean, most of the times it's not that.
Yeah.
But you know, each of us enjoy the other person enough that we're like, yeah, sure, we'll all get together, but they're not like besties. We've never had it. I wish I did. But because I travel so much, I really have community on like with technology, meaning I'm not saying Instagram, but I'm communicating with a lot of my friends through app. I use the Marco Polo video app, and we're leaving video messages with each other. And that's kind of my communication, even Bible study in the last years for me. I'm doing that online with my girlfriends, and I don't get to sit in person with them. And sometimes that's how life goes too. But I think you can find community if you really find it. I really hope you find it in person because it's way better. Speaking as someone who doesn't have as much in-person community.
Yeah, that's so true.
But it's still there online for me.
Yes, that is so true. Because the conclusion of that story that I was just telling is one of my friends that is sort of a mentor from afar. I voice memoed her, and her husband voice memoed us back and prayed for us over a voice memo. They live in a completely different state. So even though she and I have gotten to know each other through even speaking and being Bible teachers, there is a friendship that has formed there. So it's kind of a little bit of a different friendship than I would have assumed would be what would help us in this season. It's been so beautiful. So it's okay to be a little, have it be a little bit of an interesting way that you have a friendship. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Well, let's take another listener question, just a quick one. Okay, well, we kind of talked a little bit about this, but Jacqueline asked, I'm curious as to what role parents should play in encouraging modesty in fashion, or is it best to let our children discover it more independently?
I think we have to guide our kids.
I do too.
Yeah, I'd be real scared to think that without parental guidance that a child's just going to develop modesty. And I think they develop their convictions and their knowledge of what the Bible says about our bodies and about holiness and purity and all those things. In the Word, obviously, they're going to have their own relationship with the Lord, but we're their teachers, we're their parents, we're their guides in their early life. So, yeah, that's my guide. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, those are my thoughts too. Definitely. Thanks for that question. Hold on. Just going to see very quick. Could you share your favorite healthy go-to meals?
Oh.
Do you have something that you like to order when you're out on the road, or a meal that you make at home that's your go-to?
Oh, I don't do that much cooking anymore, but I mean, it would be something pretty basic. I mean, I love like a quick salmon in the oven. Yeah. I mean, I would just do a quick 12-minute salmon, right? We
I
are
do, and it's
besties.
like we are.
Yeah, I mean,
just do it in the pan. That's a great one.
Yeah.
My go-to meal, I've shared this on Instagram a few times, and now after you guys listen to this, I will probably repost it because you'll be asking me. But it's a terrible name, but I call it the COVID salad. It does not have COVID in it, okay? But it was developed during the pandemic, and it was Mary Lou Henner and we would quarantine for and living together for months at a time while we were filming movies. And so we made this salad. And
what's in it? Besides not COVID. I'm intrigued.
So it's arugula.
Okay.
And then cucumber, fennel, green onion, avocado. And then we'd toast some pumpkin seeds, pepitas, and then the dressing. So that's it. It's basically a very all green salad, but chopped finely. And then the salad dressing which is the only salad dressing I ever make. And I only make it. I don't ever buy jars of salad dressing because it's too easy to make great salad dressing. That's just better for you.
And tastes better usually.
And tastes better. Yeah. So extra virgin olive oil, lemon, a little, Dijon mustard, salt and pepper, and then you just need some kind of vinaigrette. So sometimes I'll just use an apple cider vinegar because I always have that. But if you have like a champagne vinegar, that can be great. Just a little touch of that, mix it all up. But that is my go-to salad. I eat it several times a week. So does my husband. You could add finely chopped broccoli in there too if you want even more.
Okay, so those two things could go together. We have our salmon with our salad.
Yeah. Okay. Well, this was fun and another great conversation. Guys, we are in this together. We really are. And we want you to have the whole body guide as your next step. So download it at Candace.com or you can find it in the link below. You'll also see Lisa's Body and Soul Bible Study book, which inspired much of our conversation. So pick that up too. Until next time, be grateful all day, every day. Candy Rock Entertainment, all rights reserved.